Hi guys, I'm here today to do my April wrap-up. I'm super excited to be doing it closer to the beginning of May than, the end of May, because I keep posting these things like a month behind. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about the books I read in April, and I actually read quite a few books, way more than I've done the rest of the year, so pumped about that. So first, I read The Forbidden Wish by Jessica Corey. This is a retelling of Aladdin, and it's about a genie who is a girl who meets Aladdin. In this story though, genies and magic type things are like illegal and dangerous, but Aladdin finds her and is like, ooh, I can use you to, get what I want, basically, and it's more like political than the normal Aladdin. But I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was a really good story. And I didn't really like the romance. It was pretty insta-love. But besides that, I thought the story was pretty good. Then I picked up Passenger by Alexandra Bracken, and I've never read anything by her, and I don't know if I would pick up her other books because I really didn't enjoy this. I started this in January, I believe, like when it came out, and I put it up and picked it up and down, and I think I restarted the first 2 chapters 4 times. And I finally read the whole book, and I liked it okay. It's just about this girl who learns she is a time travel, she is a passenger through time, and she just goes back in time with this other girl and this boy, and it's kind of insta-lovey, kind of just lame relationship. I don't know, it's just very long and I wasn't really interested. I guess it was kind of a cliffhanger ending, but I wasn't really interested in it, and I don't think I'd continue with it. I didn't really enjoy it. It just took forever to get into. So yeah, I don't think I'd keep going with this series. And on my phone, I listened to Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I read Cinder probably 3 years ago, and I absolutely hated it. I gave it 2 stars. But I know everybody loves the series. My friend Ashley from Tea Leaves and Bookbindings loves the series and always tells me I should reread it. So I was like, fine. So I'm gonna listen to them, I think. I'm gonna listen to the audiobooks. So I listened to Cinder, and it was the same story I remembered, but I did enjoy it a little more. I gave it 3 stars instead of 2, so I did enjoy it a little more this time around, but I still don't really like it. It's kind of a retelling of Cinderella. I just don't like Cinderella. She's a very lame princess in my opinion, so that kind of storyline for Cinderella is just so boring to me. So it's that, plus a robot, plus aliens, which are not my genre, not really my cup of tea. I don't really care about sci-fi things, robot things, and it's kind of a dystopian, so I don't know, it was okay. I did check out the next one in the series from my library on audiobook. I just don't have it yet. I'm still in line for it, so I'm going to continue listening to them, but I don't know, hopefully the next one's way better. I am excited to see what happens next, but not in love with the series yet. Then I read all 6 of the Scott Pilgrim comics. They're not graphic novels, I guess? Comics? They're not mangas because you don't read them backwards, but I guess I would say graphic novel comic. And it was super good. I gave them each 4 stars each. I like the movie a bit more, probably just because it's what I saw first and I've seen it so many times. But I still enjoyed reading it. It was still a really good story. It's about a guy named Scott who first is dating a high schooler. He's 22, 23 I think. And he's dating a high schooler, and it's just about him and his band and his friends not approving of him dating a high schooler. And he meets a girl, Ramona, who is kind of magical and can go through time and space, kind of like a time travel. It's really weird, through dreams and things. And I don't know, it's just really funny. It's about him wanting to be with Ramona, but he has to battle her ex-relationships, and it's funnier as a movie, I believe, but it's still really good as a graphic novel comic, and I will totally keep these and reread them. Then I read Paper Girls. This is comic number 1, issue 1, and I got this last December, I think, and it was like in an unboxing video I did, and it came with this comic, and I finally got around to reading it. It was okay. Like, I gave it like 3 stars. It's about these girls who like go out and like ride their bikes at night, and they stop this one girl from being like attacked by these guys who are wearing like Halloween masks and stuff, and I was like, I don't think it's actually Halloween. It's kind of weird. But I mean, I can't really have an opinion on it because this is like issue 1. So it was like, you know, 40 pages of a story, and then, you know, you're supposed to get the actual like graphic novel that would have like 3 issues in one or 4 issues in one. So it was okay. I don't think I would go out and buy the actual finished graphic novel. I wasn't really into it. It wasn't really into the art or the storyline, but it was an okay read. Then I read Amulet number 7 by Kazu Kibushi. I love this series. This one just came out in like February or March, and I finally picked it up. Just a continuation of this series, and loved it. 5 stars. Give them all 5 stars. I'm super into this graphic novel series. It's like sold for, I think, kids, but I think it's a little like darker than a young adult or like middle grade graphic novel. I'd say it's more young adult, but I know it's sold in like the middle grade section of stores. But I don't know, it's really good. Love it. Go out and read it. Then I read 2 more graphic novels. I was in a like graphic novel kick because you can read a lot, and it looks like I read a lot this month. Haha. Then I read Alex and Ada 1 and 2. These were at my local used bookstore, and I think I heard like Whitney from Whitney Novels talking about them, so I was like interested, and I actually really like it. It's kind of like Chobits, if you've ever watched that, the anime Chobits, or read the manga. So it's about like this guy Alex who's like lonely, just goes through life, and it's kind of a futuristic world, lots of like robots and such things, like personal robots help you like turn on the TV and get your food and stuff like that. And it's about this guy Alex, and he's just very lonely, like very alone, doesn't really do much with his life, and his grandma buys him Ada, which is like a companion robot. His grandma has a companion robot, and like it's her best. She's like so happy, you know, because she's not lonely anymore. So she buys Alex one, and Alex is kind of like, what the heck, like I don't want this human robot, you know, in my house. But he kind of falls for her and wants her there and enjoys her being there, and it's just what happens from there. And I really liked 1 and 2, very good. I'm really excited to find 3 to finish the series because I really liked these. Then I read an actual book again, woo! I read Beautiful Disaster by Jamie McGuire, and oh my god, this book was terrible. So bad. Either the reviews on Goodreads are like 5 stars, such a good romance, blah blah, or it's like 1 star, this is awful. And yeah, this is awful. Awful. It's about a girl named Abby, and she's like in college, always been like a good girl, goes to college with her friend America, which her friend's name is America, and I thought throughout the book that she had 2 roommates, because I thought it was Abby, America, and Mare, because she kept saying like, oh Mare, and then it would be like, oh America said this, and so I got really confused. I thought America and Mare were 2 different girls. No, it was the same girl. Mare was like her nickname, but I didn't realize that till like almost the end of the book, and I was like, oh, this makes more sense. That's not 2 different girls like Abby's living with. Yeah. Anyway, so it's just about her and America, and they're at like this party, and she meets this bad boy, Travis, and you know, instantly she wants to like be his friend and be with him, because good girls always want bad boys, you know what I mean? And it was just really bad. It was very, Travis was very controlling, didn't get his way, he beat someone up, like threatened people, like didn't know the word no. It wasn't like bad things really, but it was like, he was like, oh, can I have your number? And she was like, no. And he would like punch a table and be like, you're gonna give me your number. And she'd be like, no. And then he'd punch a waiter and be like, no, you're going to. And then she'd be like, oh my god, he was so hot and like demanding. I like gave him my number. And I'm like, no, he was awful and demanding, and like, don't let if you want to say no, say no, and don't let, I don't know, she just like said yes to him all the time, even when in her head she was like, oh, I don't want to do this, but he's making me say yes. It was very, very controlling, awful, and then just very unrealistic. There's parts with like her dad comes and says like he owes $10,000 and she's like, I'm really good at gambling, I can win you $10,000 in like one night. And it's like, where did that come from? Like, okay. And so yeah, she like does that and like just very unrealistic. Then Travis becomes like a cage fighter type thing because he beats somebody up in like Las Vegas while they're gambling, and the guy who like owns the fighting arena is like, oh my god, you're such a great fighter, like you can come be a fighter now. And he's like, yes, I'm gonna go to Los Angeles and fight people now. And it was just like, what? It was so unrealistic and just really bad relationships. I would not continue with the series. I don't recommend it. I think there's such good like new adult out there that is not this bad. I don't know, new adult's kind of weird. I haven't actually really found amazing new adult. Some Colleen Hoover is pretty good. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good relationships, but this was a horrible, horrible relationship. Then I read the best book I read this month, and that was Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. This book was a heartbreaker. Oh my god, it was so good. It's about 4 different storylines, and this is like during World War II, but it's not like it's not concentrating on like the Jewish and the Nazis. It's like all the other places around Germany. Like, it was like 4 different people, 2 girls and 2 boys, and they're just kind of, it's alternating chapters of what's happening during the war to them, and it's just really good, and it's everybody's storyline just connects like throughout the story, and the ending is heartbreaking. It's so good. Like, it's horrible that we can write these kind of historical fictions because they're so entertaining and good, but it's based on something that really happened, and I'm like so saddened that horrible things like this happen and then we get to read like awesome like stories about it. You know, I don't know if that makes sense. But, like, I love this kind of genre, but it's like horribly sickening to me that this horrible stuff happened for us to be able to read stories like based on it, you know? So yeah, it's just so sad, so horrible, but like such a deep and great story. So good. Then on my Kindle I read What We Saw by Erin Hartzler, and it was okay. I gave it 3 stars. It's about a girl who is at a party and she leaves with this boy she likes, and then they find out like the next day that another girl who was drunk like got raped at the party. She's accusing these boys of rape, but this town is like a small town, everybody's perfect, oh, sports team, oh, you know, like nothing bad can happen, so no one believes the girl, and it's just about this main character not really trusting, like, what if it was her, what, you know, what if, and it's just her trying to like kind of figure out what happened. Like, there's a reporter, you know, there trying to see what happens, and like she's trying to ask her boyfriend, who was like back at the party, if he knows what happens, and it's just like that. It was very like not cheesy, but like the author, you could tell, was super trying to push like what he thought was right, which is absolutely true. Like, everything he was posting, or everything he was writing, that, you know, he was very like shoving down your throat that rape is bad and assault is bad, and like you should tell people things, and it was very true. Like, I honestly believe that is so true, but as a story it was very like preachy and didn't go well as a story. There's just like this one main character who was like, everything's wrong, blah 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 blah, and then the one was like the typical like, oh, it doesn't matter, like just very, you could tell he was trying to write stereotypes of like who was the good girl and who was the bad girl. And so like, yes, I agreed with like what the good girl was saying, everything she was saying was absolutely true, but as a story point it was just very preachy, like not enjoyable as a story. And finally this month I reread The Winner's Curse by Marie Ruzowski. I love this series, and I'm so happy to see that I still love it rereading it, because some books I've reread and I've been like, oh, this was terrible, that I thought I loved, so I'm glad I reread this and I still loved it. It is about a girl named Celestial? I call her Celeste in my head, and that's not what her name is. It's like Celestial or something. But yeah, so I'm just gonna call her like Celeste, because that's what I call her in my head. So it's her and her friend Jess are in the marketplace one day, and they see a slave auctioning happening, and the slave that is being bid on, like, they say like, oh, he can sing, oh, he knows music, and Celeste loves music, and so she bids a ton of money on him, and a lady in the market is like, wow, you fell for the winner's curse, which is like bidding for something that people know like you shouldn't have bid as much on, but like you really want to win, so you do it anyway, like overbidding. And it's just about how he comes back to her, like, you know, house and becomes a servant, and they become kind of friends and such, and then more political intrigue things happen. She is like the general's daughter, so either she has to get married or she has to join the war. That's how like society works in this place. And overall it's just really good. I gave it 4 stars again. I gave it 4 stars the first time I read it. This time around, still gave it 4 stars. It wasn't perfect, but I still really, really enjoyed it. Hey guys, those are the books I read in April. What are some books you read in April? Let me know below. And thank you guys so much for watching. Bye guys!